This is my budget BA Falcon drift car, and in this video I'm going to explain exactly how I did it so you can build a drift car yourself just like this one. So to start, you'll need a car, and in my case, I chose this manual BA Falcon XR6 that I purchased for $3,500. This was the best option for me, and I'll explain why. In Australia, one of our most common cars is the Ford Falcon. Ford built a ton of them and they are literally everywhere, so that means finding one is easy and parts are cheap. The Falcon has the iconic 4-litre NA barrel pushing out a mega 180 kilowatts and it's rear-wheel drive, which is obviously important. So my advice to you would be to choose something that is common where you live and parts are easily accessible to keep costs down. So now you've chosen your car and you've gone picked it up. The first thing to do would be to lock the differential. In drifting, you want both rear wheels spinning at the same time to be able to slide the car sideways through the corners. And the cheapest way to do that is to weld the differential. Welding the diff means you weld the spider gears together so both wheels turn together, achieving the same result as a mini spool. This option costs nothing and only involves some extra cleaning and preparation to be sure that you achieve good strong welds and you don't set yourself on fire. I decided to buy an all-wheel drive territory diff and axles from the junkyard because they are much stronger and the diff is a 4.1 ratio compared to the stock 3.45 ratio on the BA Falcons. So now you've got the differential sorted and out the way, there are a bunch of small things to do now. I would normally install some lowering spring to stiffen up the car slightly and get that cool lowered look. But luckily in my case, I bought this car with some lowering springs already installed, so I didn't have to worry about that. So the next thing to do would be replacing and adjusting the handbrake shoes. This wasn't too hard to do and didn't cost much. A little trick is to put some tape over the handbrake button as well to make it easier to use while drifting. I also replaced the rear rotors and pads while I was in there. Next, I installed these Nolophane bump stops in the rear as mine were completely destroyed. I wanted to make sure that the car didn't squat too much and potentially have the wheels run into the guards or the suspension bind up, so I thought these were necessary. Now moving to the front of the car, I replaced the engine mounts as mine were also completely destroyed. Engine mounts are commonly known to wear out and fail, causing a bunch of clunking, especially when clutch kicking. So I decided to replace them with these tough mounts, so I should never have to worry about these failing again. For the last upgrade, I replaced the old plastic coolant expansion tank to an eBay special alloy expansion tank. This is not completely necessary, but it is good insurance and simply just looks cooler. So now on to the last things to consider, basically any maintenance or servicing that is required, like changing fluids, replacing filters, servicing belts, spark plugs, brakes, etc. And another thing to consider is any safety requirements like installing a fire extinguisher. I fitted this fire extinguisher that bolted to the stock seat bracket to make my life easier. Lastly, any spares that you might want to bring to the track, like a spare set of wheels. I bought these wheels off Facebook Marketplace for $550. So there you have it. Now you've got yourself a drift car that you can go drift with your mates and have an absolute blast. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing and chucking a like on this video to hopefully help other people out there as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.